stay afterwards, you can. I can't stay after. No. Yeah, you can stand up here and ramble. And there's the camera. Hi, camera. Okay.
And this is being streamed where?
Online, somewhere.
Somewhere. Individual.
Hello, stream watchers. My name's Gabby. Okay, so you guys can pick. I have a poem called Stranger. I have a surreal self-portrait. I have a monologue called You, and I have an untitled poem. The three-word one that I wrote last meeting that I was at. Any preferences? Any gut reactions?
Yeah, the self-portrait.
Surreal self-portrait? All right, it's in Spanglish, just warning you all. Okay, surreal self-portrait. No creo en las coincidencias. Thus, half Puerto Rican, half German and Hungarian of exorbitance. I am a cultural experiment, for I was raised by too many white folks in a plush neighborhood of ignorance and bliss and boredom. I am permeable and in excess. Thus, I am myself y mi otra, alive like ideas in auxiliary masks. Hay una ineficaz de palabras de contenerme, because I am ambiguous. What does it mean to be exceptional? It's a condition, or is it a duration? What does it mean to be recognizable, identifiable? Words are as inaccessible, unacceptable. Yo estoy terriblemente bendecida. Or maybe I am inadequate. What is a sense of self? It's a way towards exits. But am I defined by mis sueños, their dreams? I am the production of happiness for my parents, from my parents. On the mañana cálida I was born, the sky splintered into stars, watched me, and dazzled, as breathtaking as shiny knives. My insides still tremor like poppies in the breeze, es decir, con una maldita maña. My windswept mind, betrayed by deviance, saved only by the intervention of words, spewing from absent eyes under veils of sombras rotas. The other day I wanted to draw a picture of a girl without the language of my brother in her ear, without the discrimination of dirt underneath her fingernails. I wanted to arrange her outside the confines of her names, full of dubious hollows, like the worlds I write. The savage shadows under my eyes never die, porque todo lo hago bien, except when my ravings burn into my genius. Then I just write. We're taking turns, breathe. Okay. Anyone want to go next? Who's lit?
Alright. Can we turn this off?
Yeah, I don't know.
What didn't work? What do you do? How does it turn off? This. Yeah, how do we turn off the projector? Dope. Okay. It doesn't close. Maybe the Why not? I don't want it on. Okay. It'll be okay. No worries. Okay. All right. So I brought some newer poems, but I'm gonna not do one of them yet. All right. The Feminists. No. Psych. Redo. Whoa.
Rewind.
I know how this poem starts. The title is The Finest Ism, which is an anagram for the feminists. So they share all the same letters. This is what a feminist looks like, and this is what a feminist cooks like. This is my brain, and that's my brain on drugs, because for me, that's what feminist theory was. See, I was an addict. The theory was the habit, and clearly I had to use it. I began deconstructing and reconceptualizing, I saw myself reflected in what I read, and I saw the world through a gendered lens, and I realized I'd been living these theories for years, disidentifying instead of shedding tears, finding imagined futures in failure. Worshipping at the altar of alterity, but seriously, for me, feminist theory acted as a drug. For others, that's what religion does, but it's an important distinction to make because feminism isn't a religion. Its tenets aren't nearly so rigid. It doesn't have prescriptive strictures or restrictive... Whoa. Time out. I know the words of this poem. Haven't done it in a while. Okay. Feminism isn't a religion. It doesn't have... specific scriptures or prescriptive strictures. It lacks a strict structure. It has the luxury of looseness. Feminism is movement, as in music. And the rhythm hit them in waves. First wave, white women. Working within the existing political system, suffering linked with suffrage, 19th Amendment ratified, tide break, second wave. White women. Working within the existing political system, lots of legal wins while de-emphasizing differing experiences and identities. This bridge called my backlash, crash, third wave, redefining radical intersectionality introduces inclusivity on a scale as of yet unseen. Folks of every race, class, gender, sexuality, and age come together to rage against the oppressive machine, yet still today, those on the outside looking in see only one thing. Oh, we messed something up. The feared feminazi. Which is not the only type of feminist. In fact, the feminazi doesn't even exist, unless you think I'm a feminazi, in which case I would argue that the Nazi Party is not particularly known for its progressive politics or for party playlists featuring the musical stylings of Janelle Monáe. Which is to say, fuck you, we're okay. Because the feminists know that the feministism isn't just an anagram. It's an anthem that fuels the feminist fire underneath this pan and shore. Feminist theory may be the drug that fried the egg that represents my brain. But who the fuck wants a raw egg anyway? Does this computer need to be on? Did we mess something up?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to make sure. Did you turn that off?
We did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, we don't
That's
want
not
to
good.
shut off the program
Okay.
moment. Will it come back up?
It's
That's okay.
off.
Go ahead and continue. We'll take care of it. Okay. Thanks.
Oh, I'm... someone else can read a poem.
Who's next?
The lavender is fading, gray holding purple hostage in a flower empty of the explosive color of my memory, and I find that I am floating, as if gravity is no longer strong enough to keep me rooted to the land that I come from. No hum to be heard as my ears become deaf to my home, but I can't fly, I can only hover, only watch and learn to be distant. I practice leaving until I am bare in winter. Home is a place you rest your head, and I will always have my eyelids so I don't fret guitar heartstrings with the ceiling. I procrastinate feeling, save my worries for a later date, and dates always come too soon or never at all, like the sun-shaped one ball. I couldn't quite sink into loving one place or one person, stayed too long to dodge all the headbutts and shut-ups and people on me like I was honey. And I have watched myself like a film about a racehorse. The more I see, the harder I try to scratch these blinders off. I've put false hopes in finish lines, been too busy getting sinners crying to ever see some coming. I scrape the ground to holes, but I still can't stop running. My mouth is the window to my stomach knot, but don't look me in it, listen to the blackbird's voice that shed the feathers to play as a black hole, because gravity never fluttered, it gallops. I saunter into my head to try and cough out the timid I hold towards myself. Forget about the mud puddle rising from my ankles and remember a little more, as each drop finds something bigger, that it is nice to have a place to go back to, somewhere.
None of my poems are very long, but okay. Caffeine and nicotine to keep you on that icy rush, like a shot of static in every touch. Try to catch the wind, but kites fall down, tangled in Appalachian branches, at the perfect vantage point to see the rags, soaked in syrup as they ring around the rosy. Spiraling, 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 life is but a dream. And that's it. Yeah, I do. Okay. Follow the trail of cigarette butts and the boy with blue eyes grabbing the branches and the squirrel that slips through the barbed wire more like a serpent. But there's only 20 in a pack and the boy went away and the barbed wire cuts and you're no serpent. Stop saying that we're invincible. I'll read one more. Okay. Gunshot wounds were never you. Massacre was never fully in works. You don't even own a black trench coat. Your lacking experience with explosives shows fear. Never a lion, not even a mouse. Perhaps the scaredest spider in the corner of the house. This town was never despised. You were never meant to leave. That desperate house life is your true destiny. Quiet desperation, said Thoreau, of men and women and in-betweens, of smart kids good at school, kids and lucky kids like you. Run away, love, you told yourself. Never be true. Your mama and you are too much the same. Rebelde mama y rebelde hija. Fall back for the safety, forgiveness. Sour Skittles and antidepressants. You're not going to be anybody's savior. People can only change themselves. You'll choose in a way then, as she did at that age. And remember, not everyone who busts their ass succeeds in the end, and not everyone who makes it necessarily deserves it.
Mine are also not very long.
Alrighty. First one's called You May Exist for Emotion. Wrongdoing is change sacrosanct by striking some entity, war to protect life and limb, a sorry means, and such security. You become so fearful. Lies and effective death must be half protected. In nights before the fall, whichever sun is less amended, an extension of black. A soul is now missing to enforce stars' prohibition. Under this wondering act, after martyr transmission, lips' disclosure is made. Each terrible place it appears, your seizure of voice stops. Forget oral interception, bones shall establish as much. And then I'm going to do one more for now, which is untitled. Okay. It's not titled. Okay. If you were a lover, where would you hide? Perhaps you would hide inside your full hollow chest, arteries hardening, clogged with grief, a heartache attack, a struggle to breathe. Perhaps you would rest under the cloak of your hair, in the tender curve of your ear, where you could whisper, and I would not hear. Perhaps you would nestle at the base of my spine, wrap your fingers through my nervous system, and tug my thoughts back to you, soft yet persistent. If you were a lover, I might find you there. But you are not a lover, and so you do not hide. And the space at the base of my spine has nothing but space inside.
I'll read two. Okay, this first is called Catch of the Days. You've heard the story of old fishermen who don't love money and who do love fishing but don't ever worry. This is not an inspirational story. Day by day, coasting and living on wavy waters and sometimes nothing. Fishermen without fish and without money, like poets without friends nor words, to catch of the days. Guess it's just lucky, both don't ever worry. This one's called For the Homies. I had the chance to remember first times in high school, miles off Lakeshore. 'Twas a beginning. Metaphor for enlightenment, truth to be found. Someone always told you doesn't live long. Now and then we stare silently and wonder how a beginning became end. Do you want that? No, that's fine.
All right. These are newer, not super long, but let's do it. All you need is Lubbock. Separated by screens and 700 miles, we sing and speak about how soon we won't see each other again. Not Skype see, but really see, with hands holding, hugged up to a heater. We feel silly scheming about setting up a secret meeting somewhere in between our two cities. One state line apart, but Texas is so fucking big. Still, Lubbock seems special now, which is saying something. Someday I'll see you there maybe, or at that subway in Post Texas, which is even closer to halfway but not quite as sexy sounding as Lubbock. That's not something I would have said yesterday, but it's late. So I'll send you 10 words before I sleep, and maybe you'll text me at around the same time, and our words will meet somewhere in between our two cities for less than a second, and Lubbock, Texas will forget to feel self-conscious in their presence and will instead exude momentary sexiness. On Halloween night in 1999, my mama's fingers were fairy godmothers, and makeup was their magical medium of choice. She wiped away my whiskers with a single touch, leaving in their place a light layer of fairy dust. Jesus. She just momentarily miracled me into existence. Seriously, she Cinderella'd me into believing I was beautiful. But before the ball even started, the clock struck me midnight, in the form of a next-door neighbor with no time for a wolf in women's clothing. So I huffed, and I puffed, and I cried. Wee, wee, wee. All the way home. And then one more. If only for a moment. When I was little, I would lay awake and practice making out with the back of my hand, and by the time I turned 12, I'd gotten pretty damn good at it, you see. 2 fingers pressed together tightly might be the best replacement for a pair of lips I've ever kissed. And I should know, because I have some experience with stuff like this. For instance, on the playground at school, I would kiss bullies' fists. Or maybe they'd kiss me. I can't quite remember which. All I can say for sure is my face always came away in an array of different lipstick shades, but believe it or not, this made me feel better about myself because the burning of attention paid by someone other than my parents always outweighed the burning of shame or embarrassment, so I never tried to stop any of it. This may not make much sense, but what I mean to say is this. Some people spend their whole lives trying to leave their mark on the world, but I left mine back in 6th grade. At O. Henry Middle School, my head got slammed into the side of a soda machine so hard that it left a dent. The kid who did it never said he was sorry, but I didn't need an apology because that dent in the side of that soda machine meant that I mattered to someone, if only for a moment.
So, corny first or non-corny first?
How many have you got?
Well, I have 2. I have 3, but one's really short. I'm gonna do this one first. Doesn't matter. No replacement pussy, stand-in hussy, come over late, wake up early to watch you leave, shadow of a lover, waiting for orgasm, heart in hand like room service, dick sucking, let you come over my belly and wipe it off, smiling, push over, woman, no.
I say yes to your no. I love it.
Okay. It's funny. It's not the same person.
Let it out.
For you, some things I may or may not have kept to myself. I love the way your eyes have arms. I've thought of counting the number of kisses it takes to get from your elbow to your wrist. There is a caramelized passion that sticks to the roof of my mouth, a sweet reminder on Mondays when class just seems to drag. I'm afraid you have a habit of misery, and that I'm acquiring the habit of you. I think most nights you dream of water, because most mornings I am drowning, and I want to do this again and again and again. I want you to know me as I am. I am difficult, and often far too sensitive and stubborn and impatient. Moments with you never come too soon. I love the way your hair always smells like weed and rolling tobacco, and sometimes I can't stand the way your hair always smells like weed and rolling tobacco. Before a couple weeks ago, I absolutely hated sharing my bed at night. What does that mean for the nights I sleep alone? I know in the sun everyone has a shadow. That night you never showed up, I cried. You have made green tea sweeter. That one sweater you wear is pretty much the only reason I like you. Time always seems to be ticking and ends arriving and weekends closing, but I am not afraid of time with you. I just want to get lost in it, forget about it, make love with it, use it for late nights and missed brunches that lead into dinners and an indefinite number of enjoyable silences. And no, this is not for you.
Okay, I can do one that's kind of like a funnier one about love, one that's a sadder one about love, or one that people thought was about love but it wasn't.
Try the last one.
Yeah, okay, that's a short one. It's called Stranger. Before you know it, the damage is done, and I'm stuck in an agitated state of wonderment at your sound slumber against a backdrop of sirens. I like to think it's never too late for friendship. That way my soul won't burn if the rekindling ever catches. Behind the flaming flicker of memories, you are like an acquainted stranger lying in wait. I challenge you to a resolving race toward the promise of ashes and diamonds. As the gun sounds, you awake to the sirens pushing us off the edge and into our fiery freefall. At the end of the race, I raise a toast. Here's to winning.
Hey, but that kind of is about love.
It wasn't about love. Okay. Like it can be, yes, but for me it wasn't. Okay, this one's called You. You. You are my one and only. You are the one I've been searching for. At least, I hope you are. I want a you to make me happy forever. I haven't really found that you, but for now, you will do. I should warn you, I get bored with yous quite easily. I guess it's because I'm more about the thrill of the chase, the victory of conquering each and every one of the challenges my yous have put before me. I'm good at what I do, and yous will like it. I keep a journal. In it, I remember my yous. One day, I'll look back at my journal and reread each of you. You, will you be one of my mistakes? You, will you be one that I regret? You, will you be one to remember? And you, will you be one that I learn from? You, will you be that you? I'd rather you not be a mistake or a regret. You make me wonder, though. Actually, I wonder about you a lot. I wondered if you merited a place in my journal. You did, and I wondered if I would read it to you. I didn't. Sometimes I wonder what you are doing, who you are talking to, if you're thinking of me, thinking of you. You inspire me, obviously, because I actually like where this is going, where you are taking me. I wonder, if I were to write about you again, would you take me somewhere different next time? I think so, because since the very beginning, when I started talking about you, you have transformed. Quite frankly, since I met you, you have transformed, which makes you one of the most interesting you I have encountered thus far. You have gone from abstract and objective to specific and direct. I've decided I like you. I like you a lot. I'm imagining all the different places you could take me. You can do anything, be anything, just like me. Maybe that's why I like you, because you are like me, full of possibilities. I'm glad I chose you to write about and speak about. It's been a while since I've written or spoken much of anything, but now that I have you, you can remind me why I love to write and speak. It's because my yous change me, my yous inspire me, and my yous excite me. And for that, I must thank you. You three went out? Yeah. Do it. What time is it?
Okay, I have 3. I don't like these as much as the first ones, but... Okay. Once upon a time, a little girl with no friends became a beauty queen of only 18. She realized she could lure the boys. She lived for stimulants like a jackrabbit or a falling plane. Slept for depressants like a stone or a dead man. She thought someday someone would like her words and she'd cry like she used to cry. She'd cry like she used to cry. But every cut and every shot were now icy endeavors. The little girl of 18 no longer wanted to die. Ready to fall, the blood rushes to your ears. Your eyes, stained glass windows, red dye into water. A heart rate like this, you'd bleed out twice as fast, triple if you consider the aspirin pop like candy, face down, eating a cookie of Af-Salt. The bear with the boxer hands swings at you like Raggedy Ann, and across your eyes the colors pop again. Touched like a member of the industry of absent fathers in a world of pie charts and wrinkled duvettes. This is simultaneous release. All right, this last one was inspired by Frank's workshop. The condom is the glass... Let me try that again. The condom is the glass slipper of our generation, said Marla to me on that roof in LA. That Hollywood sign backdrop is just the kind of thing that Tyler would hate, but the after-sex cigarettes are what he would love, soapless scum, because she must be fucking freezing. Only speaking in vowels, it's the same as a gun, really. Please, please, don't crash into me. Please, please, this isn't a boy's dream. Teenage sex fantasy bullshit. Let me leave, set me free. Dear God, make me a bird. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone want to do one last one?
A really short one.
Okay. Susie, did you bring anything? Yeah. I want to make sure everyone has a chance.
Okay, I'll see if it might be slow, but so I grew up reading a hell of a lot of books, and then taking that and turning it back and writing stories of my own about the wonderful days of coming of age and the queen who sat on her throne with a pink plush gown and a golden crown and a corset wrapped tight on her waist. And I think that putting myself in these characters' shoes is where living vicariously made it start. I'll appeal a pretty smile upon your face, but please, don't you dare dive for my heart, because I've already decided how it all is allotted. The veins are all stretched and the atria is clotted. My focus lies now not on that, but on how the cold water in the shower starts to feel warm after a while, and how my mother doesn't like me shaking my leg, and how I think it was there even as a child. Because I've always been tall, right? But my strides could be a hell of a lot longer. And I really miss running 4 miles and back. And I hope that I'm just a hell of a lot stronger.
When do you show one with us?
Super short. Okay. Dear Kyle, we used to make love, you and I. Now love makes you and I have sex. But I'm not sure if I love sex or you.